Good evening, everybody. It is the full moon in Libra tonight, and been away a while, but I did want to get on to do this video for you guys. Just to update you, I have been out of town for work. I was in New Orleans this whole past week, and before I even left, I started having like respiratory symptoms, just like, I don't know, felt like I was coming down with a cold or something like that. And so I've been fighting that all week, and yesterday I got home, and today I basically slept the whole day. So I'm taking this whole weekend pretty much off of everything so that I can try to rest. I don't know if I just caught this cold or if this is part of, symptoms having to do with all the clearing that we're going through, because I am definitely going through a lot of clearing. I had a straight up meltdown last Saturday. And for me, that meltdown was really centering around my own self-talk and my own treatment of myself, and that like nobody on this planet could possibly bully me in the way that I bully me. Okay. So there was like this need to sort of circle back to the idea of being as loving and caring to myself as I would be to everyone else in my life. And the expectations and the judgment that I place on myself. And knowing that, having that judgment present is basically the lack of self-love there. And so that really was highlighted for me. And I was shocked and amazed and super happy that while I was driving home from the situation where I had the full-on meltdown, I hope nobody noticed. I don't think anybody did. I did it in my car. But even if they did, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I was able to come up with loving words for myself. I was able to activate a different part of my brain to go into that trauma center, like that trauma part that was reacting really badly. And essentially remind myself of the fact that I have inherent value. Like, I don't need accomplishment, or I don't need to have anything particular in my life in order to have value. That my value is intrinsic to being a human being. Okay. And the same is true for you guys. So I don't know if any of you are going through the same thing, but for me, my darkest dark really surrounds my, I would even call it masochistic treatment of myself. And the expectations that I've placed on myself based upon childhood trauma, basically. So, I've been looking at that very closely too, and how like in other parts of my life, my fight, flight, and freeze response is so off. I mean, I'm basically, I have legitimate PTSD, or have had it, and have sort of been in recovery from it. However, it began as a child, not having been physically abused, but having been basically emotionally tormented at school and home. And so it created, I learned basically that to fight got me a really bad response, or to flee got me a really poor response. And so freezing became my response of choice in highly traumatic situations. And so I have done that over and over again in my lifetime, and I find myself in that place in situations that are not true trauma, but trigger some part of me to bring up that trauma response. So anyway, I am working with myself at this point to deprogram that part of my brain so that I no longer freeze in situations where I am confronted with something that I need to deal with, or someone is treating me in an abusive way, or very simply a situation which is none of those things, something like jiu-jitsu that I willingly take part in and enjoy. But if I am not in the right frame of mind, it triggers that in me and I freeze. So while that may not be important to excel in that in my lifetime, I feel like it brings up this very important issue that's still working itself out in my mind, because your subconscious mind, your mind doesn't know that you're safe. Your mind is still living that trauma over and over again until you clear it, until you heal it. And so I have healed different pieces of it, and I'm working on peeling that away. But that has been so much of what this week has been about, trying to pull myself out of self-judgment, working on that freeze response and clearing that trauma. In addition to learning to trust myself, and therefore in mirror, learning to trust the other people in my life, that they have my highest and best good at heart, or that I am able to care for myself in a way that it doesn't matter what their intentions are. Trusting my divine complement that he is capable. That has been a big thing for me. Not feeling fully convinced that that person is capable of their own development and their own awakening. So that's been important to me as well. And that particular situation, frankly, is none of my business. That person is an individual who has to go through their own process and deserves the respect to be given the opportunity and to be given the, what's the word I'm looking for? The assumption that they are capable, essentially, and not the assumption that they are not capable. And that just reflects on myself and my own assumptions about myself. So lots of deep stuff coming up for me this week, and I'm sure for you as well. So I've gone on for 7 minutes about my own clearing this week, but I share that with you in case you have been in a dark place. In case you have been struggling with something. So, and I also apologize, I sound so congested. It's because I still have a cold. It's like all up here. It's yucky. But we are going to do a card reading for this full moon in Libra. There have been so many out there that I've sort of flicked through on YouTube. I didn't watch many of them. So I'm not going to go into the astrology of it, mostly because I'm not an expert, but also because you can get that anywhere. I am going to pull some cards for my higher guidance, which I've called in. I've opened our akashic records, and I want to ask what we can expect to receive, to experience with this full moon in Libra taking place here at the end of April, or more like mid to end of April in 2019. I just got the Druidcraft tarot in the mail today, so I'm super excited. I know this is not a new deck, but it's new to me. So we're going to use the Druidcraft tarot. So, creator, source, highest light beings, please give us an indication of what we can expect, the energies that we can expect with this full moon that's happening at this time. Ace of Pentacles is coming up. So here you go, with a new, I'm just hearing new paradigm. So we've been going through different stages of initiating new paradigms on the earth, and I believe that this is yet another stage of that. I have this feeling of this pentacle, or pentagram actually descending upon the earth. The pentagram, if you don't know, is traditionally a symbol of healing. It took the Catholic Church to turn it into a satanic symbol. So this is a symbol of healing, and I feel like it's a new level of healing that's going through, that's ripping. I just heard ripping through the planet. So I feel like while it's healing, it has been kind of intense for a lot of people, and that's why so much of our darkness is coming up. You see, this is showing up in sort of a dusk scenario. And so it's like the curtain going down in one part of our lives and coming up on yet another. Okay. And so that's kind of interesting and exciting. Let's see what else comes out. What other energies are we expecting with this full moon in Libra? All right, so I've got the Three of Swords with the Princess of Wands and the Magician. I am hearing your fate is in your own hands at this point. While I feel that there's a higher power at work here, there's a higher purpose at work, we still have the choice to look at and to heal the wounds that we have so that we can move forward in a new way, okay? Energetically renewed and powerful, okay? If we take the time to evaluate and clear these heart wounds. And this just comes up over and over again. And it could be that we have so many heart wounds, especially those of us who have been through many, many, many life cycles, are possibly clearing a lot of heavy karma, potentially for the entire collective. So karma that you might not have even created on your own or earned on your own, you're now clearing it for other people, and that's a sacrifice. That's a sacrifice of sorts. This gives me the feeling of sacrifice. I'm hearing you can't get blood from a stone. So it's like, in order to be able to reach that sort of fleshy part, that meaty part, we're going to need to clear the steel and the stone away from the heart center. So there's additional heart awakenings happening here. We're going to do that. Okay, so what's required in order to do that is a brand new perspective. We don't have the Hangman here, but that's what I heard looking at her also, is that this is a brand new perspective. This is allowing a new way of seeing your life, your world, your energy. And just as I have been looking at my life and wanting to see myself through eyes, not of judgment, but of love, that's kind of the idea. Now, it might be something different for you. But this full moon is going to be asking you to look at your, I'm feeling like the primary relation. Okay, so Libra can have a lot to do with relationships, and it will have to do with other people and intimate relationships and friendships and family members. However, the most important relationship is with yourself. And so you do need to look through new eyes at yourself. And that will inform you and allow you to take control of a situation, allow you to, I'm hearing to sort of, it's like you're being dropped into your power. It's like you're being dropped into this suit of superpowers or something like that, so that, oh, sorry, so that you can truly evaluate your situation based upon this new way of seeing yourself, what you're worth, what you deserve, seeing yourself through self-love, and building from there, manifesting from there. We have been talking about that for a while. is manifesting from a new paradigm. And there's a little bit of that being echoed here, but also still this need to clear an additional level of wounding. You know, my wounding, childhood trauma, past life shit, judgment, being judged unfairly by other people, and therefore learning to judge myself in that way. Okay. There's going to be a lot of mental battle with this. So you may be feeling like you're in a dark place right now. And if you are, just know that there's a new dawn coming in after the storm. Okay. So if you're in this place, know that this conflict is primarily your ego struggling and not wanting to let go of the way that things were, because you put these boundaries, these walls with people in place, or these like limbic system mechanisms in place in order to keep you safe, right? That's just like, I learned that the best response in extreme fear was to freeze. And I put this habit in place because it kept me safe. That is no longer necessary or keeping me safe. And so we're having these battles in our, like, mentally within ourselves, with our ego mind, sometimes with our physical body, our limbic system, right? In order to move past that. And so know, if you're going through that, that's just part of this process, that it's a process. It is a limited amount of time and you will move past it. One thing that I've learned about all these clearings and all this seemingly horrible shit that keeps coming up is I actually welcome it. Because what is on the other side of it is so amazing. Every time we go through it, there's this period of leveling up where you're like, I cannot believe I lived like this before, you know? If I think about myself a year ago, I would never go back to being that crushed inside of myself. And that's just a year ago. So, so do know that there is a lot of light on the other side of this. And that is evidenced here by this Ace of Pentacles that has shown up. They're just sort of giving us a greater idea of how we're getting there, okay? What else is coming up for us with this full moon? Nine of Wands with the Two of Cups. I think that a lot of us are looking deeply within ourselves when it comes to especially intimate relationships, but also other kinds of pairings where you are one-on-one with another person. And really evaluating how you are showing up for yourself and for other people in those relationships, especially for yourself, okay? And this could absolutely be me, coming from me, because I can only speak through the lens of my own experience and to the, from the depth from which I have experienced my life, okay? I am absolutely the wounded warrior in the case of intimate relationships. I have an incredible amount of fear and distrust in other people. That will never clear until I address the fear and distrust of my own authentic self, of being accepted by other people as who I am, okay? As being Emily, who I am, that has absolutely come up for me this week as I think about that. And so I feel that we are really being asked to look at that wounding, because with this full moon, which surrounds relationships in general, because it is a Libra full moon, the thing that blocks you from truly connecting with another individual is going to be your own wounding and your own fears. It's not about them. And that's the weird thing. It's not about them. It's about you, okay? It's about what you have been able to overcome or what you have been able to heal within yourself. Now, we always move forward as this wounded warrior. It's not that we erase that things have ever happened. We erase the tiredness. We erase the fear and the pain that has come with it, okay? It's like when we heal ourselves from these situations, what it feels like is we are jumping timelines, stepping into a new reality where those things do not impact us on the physical, emotional, or mental level anymore. We release the energy that surrounds us, that holds the pain, that holds the negative energy. And so in order to level up in this way, we do have to release that energy. So whether you are currently in a relationship, and there are many of us who are either currently in a relationship that is very difficult or damaging, or have been in the past, probably all of us, this is really coming to a head right now. And if you do want to heal that part of you, if you do want to have that relationship in your life, you must heal that part of you first. That will come about in conjunction with this empowerment that happens when you are able to see yourself from this new perspective. It's almost like you see yourself as brand new, a brand new energy. This is that leveling up I was just talking about, that you're able to do through clearing this wounding. It does not have to be a fight, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so I want to say this simply and say true love does not have to be a fight. True love is not a fight. But it is an inward journey to learning how to love yourself in such a way that you open every door to someone who is loving themselves in the same way, to meet your gaze, to meet your embrace, to match your cup, okay? That's happening now. So if you're in a place where you are not, either you're in a relationship where your cups are no longer matching, you've grown, they haven't, they grew, you haven't, you've both grown in different directions, or you've not been in a relationship for a while, that you have so much fear that everyone has been repelled by your fear, maybe not consciously, but energetically. They're being repelled by all of these arrows, these wands, okay? Because you've got so many walls up. Walls of spears, you know? It's time for that to come down. The only way for that to come down is to go inward to this wounding, to this Three of Swords. Okay, that's what's coming up this weekend. Everything that's coming up, you need to flow through it. Do not fight it. Do not overanalyze it. I'm feeling that the way to move... Okay, let me get some advice before I start talking. What is the best way to move through the energies that are coming out for us at this full moon? The Hermit, going inward. This is super powerful, okay? This is not like taking a break or disappearing for a while. This is going inward for intense and serious evaluation of what you're doing. Okay? How have you been leading your own life? What is going on within you that's creating the situation in which you're becoming so triggered? This is shining that light in the darkness within you, shining the light on your darkness. Further descent into the darkness, further descent into the underworld. I talked about this, I think, with the last new moon. Descent into the underworld. And there's so much of that still going on, where we're going down and we're meeting those parts of ourselves. That piece of me that is the biggest bully I have ever encountered. And it's not directed at other people, it's directed at me. You know, that's dark. And it is what is blocking me from being able to love myself in the way that is needed. Okay? Going within. Let me get another card here from an oracle deck. What else I have out here? I don't know. Okay. Illumination. That's perfect. Expression, positivity, joy, inspiration. What I'm feeling about illumination right now is, look, he's illuminating the darkness. Illuminate the darkness within you. And in the process, illuminate all of the situations that you're going through that feel dark and scary and unknown. Okay? None of it is unknown. All of it is navigable through yourself, through your internal, through going internal. Okay? Everything outward is reflective of everything going on inwards. It's one of the Hermetic truths that will never change. Heart portal. Receptivity, generosity, and then mistrusting is the negative side of that. So what I was going to say before I pulled this card is that we need to flow through it. We need to start receiving the energies, okay, that are coming in and transitioning us. We also need to receive the lessons because they are flowing to us effortlessly right now. We don't need to do anything to receive them. You may need to take action in your life at some point within days or weeks in order to enact the truth that you're receiving, okay? By going internally, the illumination, the truth that you're receiving. But for now, this is about being receptive, allowing it to come in, allowing it to change you internally. I've made so many shifts, this week. There was another one. By simply opening up my energy and allowing the new energy to come in and the old energy to leave. It's really that simple if you let it be. It's about letting it be that simple, which is about being receptive, okay? And letting go of mistrust here, okay? The heart chakra is about love, which is about an inherent trust. So the shadow side of this is mistrust, and that is a huge one for me, like I've just told you. And I have a feeling that for you guys, there's a lot of that as well. So trusting the process, trusting the divine. If I start to try to, this is another message I got roughly a week ago, was that I was trying to trust in the wrong things, in the wrong people. What I needed to trust in was myself, okay? being in the absence of judgment of myself, and also trusting in the divine, essentially, whatever you want to call that. If you want to call it universe, God, it is all those things to me, and trusting in the divine. And as soon as I allowed my energy to connect that way, the amount of, I received a huge amount of comfort. And going through life is sometimes about getting outside that comfort, okay? But I feel like right now, the lesson, there's a big lesson about trust, and trust in the larger picture, and knowing that we can trust in our higher selves, in our guidance, in the divine, in source energy. And that our lower mind, the mental body that we're operating from, is subject to ego, is subject to fear, is subject to wanting to control, is subject to all the wounding that we've suffered, okay? It is not the place in which to place your trust. So just because you're obsessively thinking about something doesn't mean it's happening. That's all about fear, and this has got to be about releasing those fears. Okay. Let's move on. What do we have to look forward to from this full moon? What do we have to look forward to? Okay, we've got the Eight of Pentacles with the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. And what I feel from this makes total sense, is that we have been working through a lot of this stuff, through this work that we're doing, which may be passive work. It may be this internal, going internally and allowing this energy to flow through us, allowing the light to be shined in the darkness. But it is bringing us to our sovereignty, again, the sovereignty that we were talking about the other week. It's bringing us to our power, much like the magician. These feel very similar to me this week, except for this is more of a receptive power, okay, with the woman standing there, whereas this is a very active power, okay? This person doesn't need to seek for anything. It comes to her. This person doesn't need to prove herself anywhere. She's already secure in herself. This person doesn't doubt herself. She knows that if she's in a period of rest or inactivity, it is because it is simply that part in her life cycle, okay? She is still in the process of manifesting the things that she wants in her life. But she has broken out of this cycle of having been held back by her own fears, her own worries. And so this Eight of Swords is that doubt and mistrust that we're clearing at this time. It is that judgment that has held us back, that thing that has told us that we're not good enough. How many times have you felt on some level that you're not good enough? You're not good enough for this person. You're not good enough for that job. You're not good enough to leave an abusive relationship to find one that will honor you, you know? How many times have we said that to ourselves? A lot. And I know that because we're human. That's how we operate. But this is a new paradigm. We operate from the 5th dimension and not the 3rd, moving forward. We operate from that heart portal and not that fear center in the solar plexus moving forward. Now, the solar plexus is obviously necessary and also very positive, but this is moving our energy into the heart space and out of this fear. Okay, this is all about fear, holding ourselves back because we think we can't. We think we're incapable, but we're capable. We have accomplished a lot. We're sitting pretty is kind of the word that I'm hearing in my head. We're sitting pretty if we would only recognize it. Okay? There has been a lot of work that has gone into this. And if you're like me, you're probably looking at the work that you've done and said, it's not enough. It is enough. We're enough. We've done enough. Now we need to sit back and allow this energy to come to us. Allow it to act internally. Allow it to change us. Allow it to illuminate our darkness so that we can see it, so that by the very act of observing it, it changes. You know that, I don't even know what it's called. I don't even know what it's called, but it's something that I've heard in one of the many videos that I've watched on quantum physics, because God forbid I read a book, that when a particle is observed, it changes, right? And this is the same idea. When your darkness is observed, it changes. It is then illuminated because you have observed it, which by its very existence, by its very nature, illuminates. Okay? I think we have to look. So, to go back to what my original question is, what is it that we're looking forward to? We're looking forward to realizing and becoming stable in the thought and the feeling and the reality that we are enough. Okay? What's the advice? We've already gotten some advice, but let's get some more advice. And then I'll wrap it up because we're at 37 minutes now. What's the advice? The wheel. Flow. Let it go. Just let it flow. Let it go. The walls that you've built around yourself are basically as strong as a line in the sand. They're essentially crossable whenever you decide it's time. And it's time. So let the wheel turn. Also, I'm feeling that this is a sacred space, okay? To me, this almost looks like creating a sacred circle, okay? So we're creating a sacred space around ourselves in order to do this internal work, because it is very strong, very potent time in which to do that. And the Lord and the Lady came out together in addition to the wheel. So this is the Emperor and the Empress with the wheel. Like, what more could you want? I feel like this is that turn to internal balance. This is that turn to those fated events that are coming in and flowing in, that we are allowing, that are creating that internal balance between your receptive side and your active side. Okay? I just feel this feeling of just really balancing out within myself, that in bringing light to so many of these dark places, to that judgment, that self-judgment, it actually allows me to sit back into this receptive nature, because I realize that the antidote to that is to simply open up and be love. Okay? Be love to yourself first. And that creates this balance. And that brings this balance in, then, externally. But it has to be there internally first. We all know this, right? It's happening. It is happening. Stop questioning it. Stop blocking it with your own questions, your own resistance, right? Because you're like, I think I have to do something else. What else do I have to do to make this happen? Or by focusing on other people or whatever. Need to allow this energy to come in. It is changing you. It is balancing you. It is allowing you to, sorry, my microphone, to fulfill fated events. Okay. It's obviously, any of you who are divine compliments are certainly receiving that additional message with the wheel and the Lord and the Lady together. That is that internal balance, again, which is 100% necessary before actually stepping in to that sacred union space. Okay. Yeah. So just allow all of this to happen. Don't fight any of it. That is what the advice is. It's bringing you into balance, whether you know it or not, because we're all trying to do so much work to make it happen. And sometimes you just need to sit back and let it happen. All right, let me get, there are too many. That's too many. Actually, I'm going to use this deck here. Just a couple oracle cards. Self-respect. Dear God and angels, thank you for helping me see myself as you see me, through the eyes of love. Thank you for honoring and respecting me. Please guide me to do the same for myself and granting me the courage to speak up on my own behalf. I ask for your protection in all my relationships so that I am surrounded by loving and kind people. Could it be more perfect? That's exactly what we need right now. Okay, one more. Archangel Michael, I am with you, giving you the courage to make the life changes that will help you work on your divine purpose. Perfect. Perfect. So call in Archangel Michael. This is actually from the Archangel Michael deck as well. So Michael's coming up twice here. I feel like call in Archangel Michael for help in this situation. And I hope you all are doing well and that you're allowing all this energy to flow through you and over you. And I just really appreciate all of you and love you all and hope that you can share any of your experiences in the comments and like and share this post, of course. And I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.